Question number 1, the general equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. It's pretty apparent to me that some of you guys, God bless, are not thinking this way. I'm not exactly sure what you are thinking, but some of you are not thinking y equals mx plus b. What does the m stand for? What does the b stand for? Y-intercept. So you just line them up. What number is in front of the x here? 2. What number is at the end? -9. Now the biggest problem I saw were people who wrote 2x. The x, and I said this on many occasions, the x is never part of the slope. Never. Is there anything unclear about that? Raise your hand if you put an x next to the number you put there. Oh, there were more than that. More than half the class put an x there. Despite the fact that many times over we said, you put your hand down there. No, please carry on. Keep right on going. It's not a problem. It just means that you don't get to learn the lesson the way you're supposed to. Now, you never, ever, when I say what is the slope, never, ever include the x. Never. So for all of you who put 2, and there were a lot of you who put 2, x, you got it wrong because of the x, not because of the 2. Now, for numbers 2 and 3, the problem with numbers 2 and 3 is some of you guys did not get them into y equals mx plus b form first. The first step you needed to do here on number 2 was to add x to both sides. See how I did that? Then I get y equals x plus 4, and then there were 2 possible mistakes here. Some people thought the slope was -1. If you thought the slope was -1, what did you do wrong? If you answered -1, what did you do wrong? Davis?
You didn't divide.
Josh? You didn't add the x to both sides. Good. You tried to tell the slope before it said y equals. So look at your paper. Did you get -1? If you did, you got it because you just said to yourself, oh, let me see what's in front of the x. You didn't ask yourself, is it in y equals mx plus b form first? So you really did need to do that. Okay, next up. What's the y-intercept of this line? Well, again, I need to get y all by itself. So in this case, the first thing I needed to do was subtract 3x. That would give me 2y equals -3x plus 6. But that's still not done yet because the 2 was still next to the y. That means 2 times y. So I need to do the inverse of the opposite. So I divide by 2, and it only wants the y-intercept, so I only care what's at the end, and I get 3. So the y-intercept is 3. And I do want to go back here for just a minute. A number of people also put 1x. As we discussed a minute ago, there's no x in the slope ever. It's just the number in front of the x. Melvin, stop. Bless you. Now, the good news is, number 4, just about every person in the class graphed properly. They recognized right away that the y-intercept was -2, the slope was 1/2. They began at -2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, because you move according to the slope. That looked very good. But now, on number 5, we had problems again. And on number 5, the problem was that a lot of you guys did not get it in y equals mx plus b form first. You must do that. If you don't get the line in y equals mx plus b form, you don't know how to graph it yet. So, minusing 3x from both sides, I get 2y equals -3x plus 8. Then I divide by 2. Now, the slope is the number in front of the x, so it's -3/2. Notice there's no x there. The y-intercept is 4. So I begin at 4, down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2. All right, so now, you tell me, raise your hands, tell me some of the things that were mistakes on the quiz that people made today. Davis, 1.
Add the x.
They didn't put it in y equals mx plus b form. Good, okay. Somebody else, Josh?
They put the x next to the slope.
Yeah, they put the x next to the slope. Those were the two biggies. If we knock out those mistakes for tomorrow, everybody's grade will be in the 80 to 100 range. So make sure that you practice this tonight and so on and so forth. Because if you can't do what it is that we're talking about with what we had on this quiz, then the work for this upcoming chapter, I don't know how you're gonna get it right. I just don't. But if you're an expert at what we've been had on this quiz, this chapter's really easy, super easy, at least the beginning of the chapter. Okay, so, on the axis below, graph y equals 2x plus 1. Then on the same axis, graph y equals negative x plus 4. And that what 2 points do the line cross? Do the lines cross? This is today's lesson. So, if you're able to understand what I'm going to show you now, then you understand what it is you came in here today to learn how to do. On the other hand, if this is foreign to you, if you look at it, excuse me, if you look at it like you don't know what I'm talking about, that means you're in trouble. Because this is the I don't want to say the first half of the chapter, but probably the first 40% or 35% of the chapter is exactly the kind of question we're going to do today. And we're going to work it from several different points of view, but we need to be really good at this particular type of work. Okay, what is the first equation that I have to graph? Melvin, put your knees under your desk and face forward. What's the first equation? Somebody remind me, I don't remember.
Oh, wait, for the first sheet?
Yeah, the first sheet to do it, the first equation.
Oh.
Go ahead.
It's y equals 2x plus 1.
Good. So, everybody, what's the slope? Who said 2x?
One.
I wish I had a taser.
I think
2. What's the y-intercept? Where do I begin? On the y-axis. Up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Here we go this way. Here we go loop-de-loo, here we go loop-de-la. Okay. And voila. Y equals 2x plus 1. Excellent. That's a picture of all of the points that check in y equals 2x plus 1. The point 0, 1 checks. 1, 3 checks. 2, 5 checks. 3, 7, and so on. What's the next line that I have to graph? I'm sorry? Negative x plus 1.
4.
All right, everybody be, plus 4, I'm sorry. Everybody be quiet. Mr. Toledo, what is the slope? Yes.
-1.
Nice. Well done. Round of applause. Woo-hoo! All right. Okay. Next up, what's the y-intercept? 4. Where do I begin? 4. 2, 3, 4. And what's my slope? Down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Here we go, loop-de-loo.
Oh, I went like that, but I went the other way.
Then you didn't go down 1 over 1, you went up 1. Remember,
No, I
we
went
read
down.
our graphs left to right.
I went
Okay?
down one over one.
Yeah, but that's the wrong way. We go left to right. Always left to right with slopes.
Wait.
Okay, now, was there anything hard about graphing the red line? Have you done it a bunch?
Yes.
What about the blue line? Should have been done a bunch. Maybe you made a little mistake along the way, but you should have a sense of what to do. You should be like, hey, you know, I've done this before. I have a certain sense of confidence. Now, the only thing we're doing new today is this point right here, which is supposed to be in green. This point right here is a very important point. The coordinates of this point are 1, 3. And as David just said, this is where they intersect. To intersect means it's where they cut across each other, where they touch. So that is the common solution. Remember, the red line is a picture of every single point that checks in the red equation. The blue line is a picture of every single point that checks in the blue equation. The green dot is the only point, the one and only one point, that checks in both equations. Now let's just show you how to do the check here. Y equals 2x plus 1. Now remember, any point is x comma y. So in the x place, I'm going to put a 1, And in the y place, I'm going to put a 3. 3 equals, what's 2 times 1? 2. Plus 1, so 3 equals 3, check. So I just checked that it's in the red line, let's make sure it's in the blue line. Y equals negative x plus 4, 3 equals negative 1 plus 4. What is negative 1 plus 4? 3. So 3 equals 3, check.
Boy.
And this is the procedure that we're going to work on over the next couple of days. Had we finished the test on time yesterday, we would have done this lesson yesterday, but now we did it today, and we're also doing the second sheet lesson number 2 today, and then we keep working on building those.
So we
Okay,
have double homework today?
I'll get to that in a little bit. Can everybody take a look at this? Are we good? We're all good? Okay, so let's go to, you graph those two. Find that point of intersection and then check it. That's what it says under the box, to check it.
Why is it teamwork? Because teamwork is everything.
Okay, if we're talking about doing the math, that's okay, but I'm hearing a little whistling, that's not good. You should always write M equals and B equals under each line so that you can get some partial credit in case you happen to make a mistake.
Are we having double homework?
I said I would get to that in a little
Oh.
while. No, that's good.
What's their line,
Mhm.
For that negative 1 over 2x,
Yeah.
is the 2 negative as well? Okay, just
Just
one.
look at the whole thing as a negative, and you go left to right, so it's down 1 over 2. It doesn't matter where you think the negative is, as much as left to right, down.
Wait, would the one go over or?
Down 1 over 2.
The 2's going to the right.
Left to right, always left to right when you graph. Ava. Another 30 seconds or so. Okay, so, the question is brought up about slopes. Where does this negative go? Does it go to the top? Does it go to the bottom? Does it just go in front? And the truth is, it doesn't matter. Watch. Nope. Are these the same two lines?
No.
No, huh?
Mine's the same. send a number.
Hold on, is this number, this
I'm
is
on the
one?
wrong page. I did the wrong graph.
Oh yeah, I did the wrong graph then. I did the wrong one too.
Eva, this one. I did this one.
Oh,
Guys, can we,
That one is. I did the wrong one. That's
Okay.
the other sheet.
can we all stop and pay attention? Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is this. I want to go through and graph this. And I want to show you how these slopes all work out the same before we go too much further. Is this sheet 1 or 2?
Two.
You know,
no, you did the right one.
No, that's two. It's okay, Dad, 'cause I did the wrong one too.
Oh, that's the wrong
okay. Now, the slope here, if you guys are looking around, you're not gonna learn. The slope here is -1/2. I think we all agree with that. Now, I don't care if that negative's in the top, if that negative's in the bottom, or best yet, is the way I like to write it, just a negative in front. Let me show you why. If I start, the y-intercept here is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I go, first I'm gonna treat it as if the negative's in the top. So I'm gonna go down 1, and then since the 2 is positive, 2 to the right. Down 1, 2 to the right. Down 1, 2 to the right. Because the 1 is negative, so that's up and down. And the 2 is positive, so that's left and right. So the right is positive.
Oh, now.
Down 1 over 2. Now, look what would have happened if I'd have done it the top way. That would mean up 1, left 2. Up 1, left 2. Up 1, left 2. Isn't that the same line?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's just whether you're on this side of the y-intercept or this side of the y-intercept. Now, I prefer personally, anytime I see a negative, I don't think about whether it's in the top or the bottom. I like to think of it as being in front. And I just remember that anytime I do a slope, I go left to right, always. And negative means go down. So left to right, down over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, and that's it. Now I connect the line, and there is no whistling. There is my graph. Okay, now I need to do the next one. On this one, what's the slope?
2.
2. And what's the y-intercept? So I begin at -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. I always feel good when it meets on a perfect point. It does not guarantee that I'm right, but it does suggest it. So, y equals 2x minus 4.
Wait, mine was that one.
Then you did something wrong.
Wait, because this one's positive. No, that's
Now.
here's a positive.
Ava, I would worry if you did the right page.
What? This is lesson 2.
Okay, now,
So confused.
we were working on lesson 1, we said that. Now, what's the coordinates of the point where they meet? Joe? 4, 4, very good. And now the last thing I need to do is check the coordinates in each equation. So I rewrite the first equation. Does 4 equal -1/2 times 4 plus 6? -1/2 times 4 is -2. Does 4 equal -2 plus 6? Sure it does. 4 equals 4, check.
How did you do that?
And the next one, y equals 2x minus 4. Does 4 equal 2 times 4 minus 4? What is 2 times 4? What's 8 minus 4? So 4 equals 4, check. And there's my correct answers. So what you're expected to do anytime you do one of these is you graph the first line, get your hood down, Alex. We graph the second line, and we find the coordinates where the two of them Neat. Okay. Try those two.
Is that what it is?
Same exact idea. We are drilling it into your head.
Oh, that's so long.
Where you grab? Sheet one. Up here.
It wasn't here yesterday.
Right. Well, then the sheets are in the back box.
Yes.
Come on. There. Notice when I make these lines, I make them nice and long. Now this one does not meet at a perfect point, and sometimes that happens. It's actually going to meet at the point -3, comma, -2.5. And that sometimes happens. It's not typical, but it's sometimes. Okay, your job tonight on your homework is to do the homework for sheet 2. What homework are you gonna do? Hasta la vista, vaya con Dios, toodaloo, top top. Arrivederci, smile a lot, ciao. Arrivederci. Sheet 2. Michael, did you hand your test in? Yep. You're welcome. See you later, Candace.